The papacy, the office of the Bishop of Rome, holds a sacred place in the Catholic Church, established by Christ himself when he said to St. Peter, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church." But what happens when the Pope dies, or when he abdicates his role? And how does the Church, guided by the Holy Spirit, select his successor? In this episode, we will explore the solemn and ancient traditions of papal succession, from the passing of a pope to the conclave that elects the next vicar of Christ. Let us begin. Throughout history, most popes have served until their death. When a pope passes away, an intricate series of traditions and protocols unfold. First, the death must be officially verified. Traditionally, the Camerlengo, the cardinal who administers the papal household, performs this duty. In centuries past, he would call the Pope's name 3 times and gently tap his forehead with a silver hammer. Today, medical professionals confirm the death, but the solemn moment remains deeply symbolic. Once confirmed, the Pope's fisherman's ring, a golden signet bearing the image of St. Peter casting his net, is destroyed. This prevents any fraudulent use of his seal. A period of mourning follows, typically lasting 9 days, known as the Novendiales. During this time, funeral rites take place, culminating in a grand liturgical ceremony attended by world leaders and clergy from around the globe. The Pope is traditionally buried in St. Peter's Basilica, though some choose a different final resting place. But what happens if a pope does not die, but instead chooses to abdicate? Papal abdications are rare. The most famous in modern history is that of Pope Benedict XVI in 2013. Before him, the last pope to resign was Pope Gregory XII in 1415, during the Western Schism. For a pope to abdicate, he must do so freely and with full knowledge of his decision. There is no formal requirement beyond his declaration, but upon resignation, he loses all papal authority. He is given the title Pope Emeritus and withdraws from public life, typically spending his remaining years in prayer and study. Once a pope dies or abdicates, the Church enters the sede vacante, literally the empty seat. At this point, the process to elect a new pope begins. The election of a pope takes place in the most secretive and solemn process within the Catholic Church, the conclave. The word conclave comes from Latin, meaning with a key, signifying that the cardinals are locked away until they select a new pope. This practice began in the 13th century to prevent political interference. The College of Cardinals, those bishops entrusted with electing the next pope, gathers in Rome. Cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote. After a period of prayer and discernment, they enter the Sistine Chapel, where Michelangelo's masterpiece, The Last Judgment, serves as a constant reminder of their sacred duty. Before voting begins, all present take an oath of secrecy, swearing before God that they will not reveal anything about the election. Then the doors are locked and the selection process begins. The election follows a simple yet profound process. Each cardinal writes the name of his chosen candidate on a ballot, folds it, and places it in a ceremonial urn. Votes are counted meticulously. For a pope to be elected, he must receive a 2/3 majority. If no one is chosen after several rounds of voting, the ballots are burned with chemicals that produce black smoke, signaling to the outside world that no pope has been elected. When a candidate finally receives the required majority, the ballots are burned with chemicals that produce white smoke. The world watches with anticipation as the famous plume rises above the Vatican, signaling, "Habemus Papam, we have a pope." Once a new pope is chosen, he is asked the solemn question, "Do you accept your election?" If he consents, he then selects his new papal name. The new pope is led to the Room of Tears, a small chamber where he puts on the white papal vestments. The name reflects the overwhelming burden of his new role. Soon after, the cardinal proto-deacon appears on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and announces to the world, "Annuntio vobis gaudium magnum habemus papam." The new pope then steps forward, blesses the faithful, and delivers his first address as the successor of St. Peter. The election of a pope is not merely a political process, it is a moment of profound faith. Catholics believe that the Holy Spirit guides the College of Cardinals in their decision, ensuring that the Church remains steadfast in its mission to preach the gospel to all nations. Through centuries of tradition, the Church has remained firm in her foundation, built upon the rock of Peter. The successor of St. Peter is not chosen by ambition or power, but by prayer, discernment, and the will of God. And so, when we see that white smoke rise, we know that Christ's promise endures. Behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Thank you for joining Spectara Caelum in this exploration of papal succession. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and share, and may God continue to bless His Church.